What's up everybody, it's Jeff Bonk here from the HPV group in Hoboken, and today we are going to take a bird's eye view look at Hoboken. For those of you who are just getting familiar with this awesome city, we're going to look at where it's located and what's around it, and then we're going to zoom in and we're going to break down neighborhood by neighborhood, because even though it's a square mile, there's 4, 5, 6 different areas where kind of have their own feel and vibe here. So come along, let's take a look from the bird's eye view of Google Maps. So here we go, we're going to zoom out real quick. Here is Hoboken, our little box here. New York City. This is Manhattan. This is Central Park right here, Midtown. This is Lower Manhattan, the financial district. Over on the other side of Manhattan is Brooklyn, Queens, Yankee Stadium up here, one of my favorites. All kind of located within a ferry, a train, or a quick car ride of Hoboken right here. As we zoom out a little further, you'll see we have the rest of New Jersey, the suburbs here, and just a quick ride to get kind of up this Hudson River Valley into the Catskills. This area up here is where you get some good ski mountains. From there, we'll also look a little bit further west here. You have some of Pennsylvania, more kind of getting out within an hour, 2 hours into the Poconos. You have ski mountains, you have wilderness, you have good retreats to kind of just get away, get out of town. And you also have Philadelphia down here, only about an hour and a half down into another major metro area. So it's a great centralized location where you have access out into the burbs, up into the city, up into the wilderness and kind of nature, and obviously right back into New York City. So zooming back in and kind of starting a little bit of a explore of Hoboken, we have this lower southeast portion, which you'll see these dotted lines here represent some of the transportation options, some of these lines here. So we have one of the biggest transportation hubs of the town. This is the PATH station, as well as the ferry station, as well as New Jersey Transit Station. So you can get on this and go right under the river and go to 6 different stops in Manhattan. You can also take this into Jersey City. It essentially acts like an extension of the subway. These dotted lines are the ferry, so you can get on a ferry and in 5-10 minutes, you'll be right in Lower Manhattan in the financial district. It's a beautiful ride, it's a little more expensive, but it does give you a very smooth ride into the city with no traffic, obviously, on the water. And then if you're coming into Hoboken or need to do a reverse commute, this is a myriad of New Jersey transit lines that go out through the heights here and then splice out into New Jersey, into all the major metro train towns. So that's all of your options from here. It's also the starting point and the origination point for the bus that'll ride all the way up Hoboken to the north end and go over, and we'll talk about that in a second. So that's the transportation here. This area as well, talking about the vibe of this area, it's busier. It's definitely an area you want to live if you want to get in and out of the city really quickly. You want to feel like you're almost still in Manhattan or in one of the boroughs in Brooklyn, in Queens, and Long Island City area. And you want to be super, super connected, but a little busier, a little bit more activity on the streets. There's more restaurants, more bars. That area is more lively, more late night. So those are your benefits of living in that area. The downsides there is it's busier, right? It's the same benefit as it could be a deficit to you if you want a quieter area of town, if you don't want to have a hustle and bustle feel. That's the vibe here. There's an awesome park here with some great views of the city, and the restaurant options are both a mix, right? You have like really nice high-end restaurants, but also like places that stay open until 2 or 3 o'clock, and that's your nightlife scene there. So that's the southeast. Let's move southwest. The southwest corner of Hoboken has a few different transportation options. One is it is one of the arteries to get out of town by car. So if you come over here and you're going down Newark Street into Jersey Ave, this connects you with the Jersey Turnpike, gets you out into West Jersey, South Jersey, all those main areas. So there's no connections down here. This is kind of the choke point over here. So if you want to get out quickly to a job that you commute to every day and you don't want to sit in traffic, kind of fighting through some of the other stuff, a lot of people will choose to live in this area. There's some new construction in that area going up, some newer buildings. There's a Hoboken Business Center where a lot of businesses are right here in this Harrison Street area. There's also the light rail. The light rail can take you uptown Hoboken, it can take you into Jersey City, take you into the heights in these areas. And you have an elevator back along the edge here too that can actually get you up this cliff that goes up in Jersey City Heights, which is one of the neighborhoods of Jersey City. We'll cover in another video at another time. In this area, you'll have a mix of some older homes, kind of like you have down here, but you also have some newer builds and newer construction. So you have a little bit of both, depending on what you're looking for, if that's the right neighborhood for you. From there, we're going to move north. So we have the center of town here, and the center of town really where you find some of the older brownstones and older, more walk-up style homes where you have maybe a 4-story building that's been converted into 4 2-bedrooms or 3 bedrooms or 1 bedrooms, depending on the size. So you'll have walking up and down a smaller building feel. Or maybe that building is all one unit still, and it's a $2 or $3 million brownstone. You have 3, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, the whole lot, the backyard. And that's because this is the area that was built longest ago, about 120, 150 years ago. This area over here was where a lot of shipping was. This area back here was not fully developed yet, so they kind of settled this middle area of town. Through here, you have 2 buses. You have the bus up Washington Street, which is the main drag here, where you'll find a lot of your shopping, a lot of your restaurants, a lot of your just walkability and kind of places that you can go and run errands and do everything you need to do. And you'll find a bus route here on Clinton and Willow that all go up over this bridge up here into Weehawken, into the Lincoln Tunnel. It's about a 10, 20-minute commute into the city, depending on traffic and how quickly you get the bus from waiting at the bus stop that come about every 5-10 minutes during rush hour. Those are really your 2 main commuting options, but you're only about maybe a half a mile walk to the ferry over here or the PATH station, or you're only a half a mile walk to this other waterfront area, which we'll talk about in a second, which is the northeast corner, where there's another ferry terminal as well here. Mixed in here, you do have shops and restaurants and some more of dining areas rather than kind of like party late night areas. So this is a little quieter and less busy. All right, so from there, we're gonna move up to North Hoboken. So the main area to focus on up here is this northeast area of Hoboken, and this is more of the quieter part of town where you have more high-rise buildings. Some of them are old. There's like some old converted factories, but there's a lot of them are new as well that were built by people like Toll Brothers, some of the larger developers that do work in this area. They'll have an elevator more often. They'll have doormen more often. They'll have outdoor space. They're a little bit more expensive and they're a little quieter. And your only commuting options from here are really, you have the ferry, which will go into Midtown and to downtown, or the bus, which goes right over this bridge here and goes into the Lincoln Tunnel, which this is the Lincoln Tunnel here, and puts you right in Port Authority. This is Midtown Manhattan. A lot of these buildings as well do have shuttles that run you down to the PATH. They run during rush hour times, or you could always hop on the bus and take that down. Or depending on how much time you have and how much you like to walk, it's about 1.2, 1.3 mile walk from this little neighborhood up here downtown to take the PATH as well. You have more shopping and restaurants up here. There's a couple places that'll stay open later, but for the most part, it's more of a dinner night, kind of night out type of vibe versus down here where there's more bars that stay open late, which people come in and out of the city for, and this is like a little bit more of the want to socialize and kind of go out later versus the dinner crowds, maybe some young families, be more strollers. We call the stroller brigade runs around this area. So younger kids usually in this area, because you have the buildings and the benefits of an area that makes it easier to have kids in versus some of the busier areas where you gotta get strollers up and down walk-ups or some tighter, narrower buildings that just aren't conducive as much to having all the stuff that kids bring with them, right? So this is more that area. And last but not least, we have this northwest area. This is still an area that's being developed, and you can actually tell I'm actually sitting, this is where our office is right now. We're in a really cool 100-year-old old factory building that has been converted into a restaurant on the first level and offices above it. And there's new buildings going up all over the place over here. And this is one of the areas that is going to have a lot of new buildings coming, not as much residential yet, some more commercials, a couple of really good restaurants. You'll see Knucklehead and the Shepherd right here. We're sitting right above the Pilsner House. We have cool things like this Gravity Vault, which is rock climbing, a newer building that's built here. There's a new coffee shop that has a location down here, and they built the second one over here. There's a farmer's market that goes around here. So it's a really cool, budding, developing area. One of the last areas to even have room to continue to build in all of Hoboken. From here, you really have your bus that goes right here. You can walk to that bus line, or you can walk back to that ferry, which is only about 5-6 blocks as well. So the benefits here is you're going to get a little bit more space. You're going to have one of the largest parks currently being built right here. It's going to be the largest park in all of Hoboken. It should be ready in about 6 months, come spring, summertime. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening here. So I hope you enjoyed this bird's eye view tour of Hoboken. There's so much to cover here. You can drill down smaller and smaller and smaller and find different things on different blocks. And I'd love to tell you all about it. So if you have more questions, feel free to reach out. Our team is always happy to give tours of town to new people considering moving here. And we hope to see you on Washington Street or out about town sometime soon.